Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Colton with BearScareBeauty, back again. And today I'm just going to do something that I don't think I've ever done on this channel before, though I know I have shown pictures of it. I'm just going to do drag because I want to, and I can. Full disclosure, I am not a drag queen. I have done drag performances in the past, but it is not something I regularly do. It is not a career, not really even like a passion or a hobby. I do it a couple of times a year for social functions where it's appropriate to do it or encouraged to do it, and then I'll go out and support my community that way, as I have for the past 4 or 5 years now. I kind of fall under, I guess you would call it, trash. I'm intentionally bad drag. Now that stands apart from bad drag because it is intent. It's what's that phrase? It takes a lot of money to look this trashy, right? It's that. Like it's an intent to look kind of, it rides the line between like campy drag and like fishy drag, which is kind of a new term coined. And then of course, I just want to bring out there, because I feel like this is something that I've heard, being a man that wears makeup, is, well, you do drag all the time, you wear makeup. Wearing makeup is not the same as doing drag. At all. In any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I'm just going to be doing some trash drag. And I think last time I was in drag, last time I was in drag was at Halloween at work, and I'll see if I can put a picture here. And then before that, I went to a Pacific Northwest event called Valentine's from Hell, and I wore a literal trash bag as a dress, and that was a lot of fun. Let's jump into it. I'm going to start by gluing down my brows. I hate doing this with a passion, so I'm just gonna like do it. I might fast forward, I might just skip it. Either way, something's gonna happen and I'm gonna have my brows glued down. Got the brows on. You can still see I used a little bit of red lipstick to color correct. It's fine, we're gonna conceal over them, so it's not that big a deal. I'm gonna grab concealer real quick and we'll do that. Just taking the Tarte Shape Tape. I know this was everybody's old fave. I do still like it, I just think sometimes it's a bit much. Also, the smell is abysmal. And I'm really trying not to load too much liquid on the brows because the glue will start to dissolve, so. A little bit better there. It's a little pink because of the red we put down, but that's all right. We're gonna go over everything with foundation anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Speaking of foundation, you want something with a fair bit of coverage for drag, and you want something that's gonna stay put. So we're just gonna take the Wet n Wild Photo Focus, and we're just gonna start slathering it on. Just taking a stippling brush, and I'm just gonna start kind of gently pouncing this around and over.
Any ideas?
Let's give ourselves a little check. Gonna go in with another layer of foundation. And now I'm actually just going to use, this is just my flat top kabuki brush, and I'm just gonna use this to more stamp it in. And this is just gonna kind of help build up the coverage. Now that we have a pretty consistent base down, just gonna make sure to keep blending out over the eyebrows. I just want to make sure everything is nice and seamless and consistent. And it's really important that when you're going over the brows at this stage, you just want to use patting motions and packing motions. If you're blending, it's gonna start pulling up hairs. Dear God, it's me. Please stop. I'm just going to take the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the cream contour kit. I like this kit. You can also find it in the secondhand market really inexpensive, and it's a very good cream contour kit, so I'd say it's well worth it. I'm going to take the deepest shade, which is Havana, on just a flat paddle brush. And we're gonna carve the cheeks. I'm gonna get a little bit closer. There we go. So I have a pretty long and I guess square face, chiseled-ish face. I used to be fat, so I really think I don't, but then I'll catch myself in the mirror and I have cheekbones, so I don't know, man. So we're just gonna accentuate that. And I'm gonna draw a pretty hard line on, so I'm gonna go kind of like down. So you can see, got a little poop mark on my face now. And then in. And then I'm gonna swoop up slightly. Because I'm gonna try to round my face out. And now we're just gonna pull back. And I'm gonna kind of bring that up and back into my hairline a little bit. I'd say especially when you're doing drag, you wanna blend into the hairline. If you're wearing a lace front, it's gonna help disguise all of that. And then B, it just kind of gives it a better, more cohesive look overall. I'm trying to sharpen the line a little bit. Gives me a nice kind of plump looking cheek. And we're gonna try to repeat the same thing on the other side. A really great adage for doing drag is paint for the back of the room, because you really want people to be able to see you. You're not going for subtle, for the most part. I know there are some queens that definitely do, but you're there to be seen, right? Kind of using the edge of the brush to soften it and blend it out a little bit, but it's not removing a ton of coverage from it. Get a little more Havana, and I'm just gonna kind of round out my temples a little bit. And see, I've kind of given myself the illusion of having a rounder face. Go right up in here, just a little bit on the top of the forehead. The 12 head if you're me, but you know, that's that. We're gonna do the nose next. And I'm just taking, this is just a really sharp dagger brush. It's actually a special effects makeup brush, but it works great for doing really fine, sharp lines. And I'm just loading up the sides of the brush. It's never gonna focus, that's fine. And I'm going to take, like, from the brow, like from where my actual eyebrow is, and bring it down into the nose, and I'm gonna point the nose. I'll see if I can do this to where I'm looking at the camera doing it. It's hard.
Any ideas?
See? The nose is being eliminated. And I'm just full on cutting it off, like making a little triangle. And then I like to go under the nose and do that, and it just makes this kind of like tiny little nose on it, you know? Tiny little nose under nose. The nose knows. This is just a smudging brush, but it's like a really soft one, and I'm gonna kind of blend the nose out a tiny bit. And since it's a cream, I'm just gonna take it and pat along the edges. Tiny nose. Now we're gonna go in with some highlights. I wish I could say I'm subtle with highlighting, but I'm really not, so we are just going to take some straight up white concealer. Oh my god, this stuff smells like acrylic paint, oh my god. And I'm gonna start by going right under the eyes. I'm just doing a strip right under the eyes, and this dries really fast, so I need to blend it out. I'm going to take, this is just a dry sponge. And I'm blending it right up to the side of the nose. I may build it up a little more, but we're gonna start with that, and I'm gonna go in on the other side as well. Definitely a lot more coverage on that side for some reason, so... And it's mostly focused right here, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more right here. Don't worry, I know it looks really crazy. It's going to. We'll kind of fix it though. I'm just gonna do like 3 little lines on my forehead, just because I really want it to focus right here. So that's created some dimensionality to the face. It looks really crazy, I know. I'm aware, don't worry. This is like the lightest shade in the ABH contouring palette. I'm gonna take a small stippling brush, and I'm just gonna dip into that a little bit. And I'm gonna go right under where we did that white. And that's gonna be kind of a more natural blend, and I'm also gonna kind of blend it in with the contour. And now I'm just going to take that same brush and I'm just going to use it to gently buff up the contour in like kind of upward swirly flicky motions. I'm going to take another, this is just a smudger brush, and very gently I'm going to go in with that white, and I'm just going to do a couple little dots down the bridge of my nose. Trying to keep it centered. Sorry, I just realized I completely blocked the camera there. I might go in 1 or 2 times to highlight the bridge of my nose, but it's a lot easier to like kind of fix it by darkening it than it is by lightening it, so I need to not overdo it on the white. As well, you're using a brush, so it's not pulling up as much product as it would if you were using a sponge. Also, I do want to bring up, it's totally okay just to leave like a straight white patch somewhere. If you're trying to make it look like a cartoon, like when you highlight on a cartoon, it's just a white line, right? Perfect. See, gives me the appearance of having a nice skinny nose. I already have a tiny nose, so whatever. All right, powder time. I'm just gonna take a clean powder puff, and I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me powder in 0.5. I really like this powder. It's very pale, but not white. It's also not translucent at all. It has coverage, so I'm gonna do a little bakey bake right where I highlighted, and pull it down slightly into the contour. Don't forget to pack it and fill your tear ducts like I just did. I think it was in the last video I did where I said, do you just ever make bad decisions all the time? Yeah, me. And I'm also gonna go right under the chin, and we're gonna make that kind of like harsh chiseled line, and that's gonna cut the contour. Boom, like that. I'm gonna kind of pack it on my chin too. I don't really think for the chin I need to highlight with the white, but I will use the lighter powder. And I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute and bake, and then we'll sweep it off and I'll set the contour, and then we'll do the eyes. Back to the Illuminati. She's doing a video on the Nihikimori culture in Japan. And it's really interesting and kind of poignant for right now too, because we're all essentially being forced to be shut-ins, but this is more of like delving into what it actually is and what it means. And it's really interesting that it's kind of a culture steeped in a lot of PTSD and trauma, but it's like not taken seriously because it's just seen as like, oh, you would pull yourself up by your bootstraps if you were really depressed. But it's like that's not how it works. It's not how it works, sweaty. It's not what we're doing here today. Now that it's been a couple of minutes, I'm just gonna dust this off. I'm just using a big domed fluffy brush. And I'm kind of dusting, and then I'll pat around. Just make sure all that powder's put to good use and nice and absorbed. And see, even without like contouring with some cream, we have like a nice line there. I'm kind of a fan of less is more on eyes when it comes to drag, but you obviously want to make them bigger and a little higher up. That's why we get rid of the brows, right? I don't know, this is gonna seem silly because I'm working with such a big space, but like the eyes don't have it. In fact, my eyes never have it. So first, starting by taking off the NYX, taking out the NYX Proof It, and I'm going to kind of go all over my actual lid, and then I'm gonna bring it up over my brow and out, and I'm just dabbing around. I know in some of my other videos I usually preach about not overusing eye products, and that still remains the same here. I feel like if I, specifically me, because I have very hooded eyes, if I overuse products, it gets bad fast, it creases, what have you. Given that we're covering a larger area, you need more product, right? Just makes sense. Simple math. And I'm also taking it a little higher than the actual brow.
Any ideas?
Patting around, dabbing around. Gonna do one at a time. I'm gonna zoom in a little closer. I don't really care if you can see my whole face, as long as you can see my eye. Finally learning angles here on this channel. We did it, Reddit. I think I'm feeling this like just vibrant coral, this C2 here. Ooh. We're gonna do a few things. I'm gonna take this as just kind of a flatter, fluffy brush, and I'm actually going to use B4. This, oh God, as I destroy a shadow in this. Sick. Party on, Garth. I'm going to be using B4. It's this nice kind of purple shade right next to it. Now what we're doing is we're creating the illusion, are you going to focus? We're creating the illusion that the eye is bigger. So I'm going to start with the crease, and the crease is actually going to be like mid where my actual eyebrow is. So I'm just going to use patting motions, and I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to pat, and I'm going to take it about 3/4 of the way in. I'm not going all the way in. I would really prefer it if you would focus. And I will gently, and I'm barely touching my skin, I am gently buffing. Now that's the color that I want down for my crease. I'm going to take this as a more fluffy brush. Can you focus, please? And I'm gonna dip in that C2, it's that really vibrant coral. And I'm gonna tap like halfway over, halfway off of that. Ooh, yeah. And I'm gonna bring that one in further. And this is pretty much off of my brow at this point, so I will go ahead and use some more blending motions with this one. And I'm also going to take it like down right into the nose contour, like where it meets. And I'm going to kind of blend it back because I will be doing a wing. I'm going to take that same blunter fluffy brush, dip back into B4, and I'm just going to kind of reinforce where we may have lost a little bit because I do still want it to be like a more vibrant purple right here. And I'm going to start taking it down a little bit. I'm going to build up the wing now. And I am going to do a black wing, but I'm also going to put glitter on it, so I can do what I want. Just taking straight up black. I'm going to start kind of from the bottom, and I'm just going to mark where I want it, because since my eyes are really hooded and curved, I got to kind of I got to paint by my own numbers here. And I will fill in that gap there with more of the red, but this is just a sketch, little outline. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this in.
Any ideas?
Okay, and since I kind of fudged a little bit, we're just gonna Bob Ross it and say, hey, that's where it was supposed to go, baby. You know, just happy little accidents. Once again, dipping into that C2, and I'm just gonna fill the gap between here and the wing. Which is kind of fine. I kind of intended there not to necessarily be a gap, or rather expected there to be a little gap. Which is why I kind of blended it out earlier. And now I'm just gonna tap over it and tap off the excess and then just kind of keep buffing and tapping. Will, however, take a little more B4 and I'm just gonna kind of extend this the tiniest bit. I don't want too much. Gonna take some of the NYX glitter primer, squeeze a healthy dollop on the back of my hand. Getting a text from my boyo friendo, un momento. And I'm just taking that and I'm gonna essentially, I'm creating a cut crease. I'm not using concealer because I don't like using concealer for that. Instead, I'm using glitter glue because that's kind of what it's for, and I think it works better. Also, I have the White People Taco Night TikTok song stuck in my head. I'll put the video in here because it inspired me to go out and get stuff to make white people tacos. That's what I'm doing after this.
Any ideas?
I think I'm gonna go for something like darker. I'm gonna go for Illusion out of the BH palette. Oh fuck, it's such a pretty duochrome. I'm kind of doing a patting and pulling motion. I really find that work best for a lot of shimmers, in my opinion. Something about, I just think it helps the pigments like lay down a little better, especially if it's duochromatic. I'm taking a really fine point brush, I'm dipping into that C2 on just the tip, and I'm kind of packing it right along that inner corner, and just fanning it out, like so. Taking a flat concealer brush, and I'm dipping into that NYX Proof It, and I'm gonna stamp over the wing. Now I'm going to dip into Alchemist. It's this one on the end there. It's a very pretty purple glitter. And this one is more of a glitter. I've never really noticed that this is like duochromatic, so I'm just going to pat this. Got a nice purple glimmer to it now. I'm gonna take the liner brush that I was using and I'm going to extend the wing downward slightly by just kind of blending it down. That's just going to be kind of the white of our eye now. And now I'm going to take another concealer brush, little bit of that white concealer. Make sure that it's like pretty evenly coated on there. I don't want globs, and I'm just gonna go right.
Any ideas?
And there we have one eye done. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye off camera because this was really time consuming. And we're back. Okay, so I got both eyes done. Sisters, not twins, just, you know, rules to live by. We're gonna do some brows. I don't like brows. I am not great at brows on myself, I'll be fully honest. So, let's start by I'm just gonna take a simple brow brush, right? I'm going to dip into the cream contour, and I'm going to use the lighter shade, and I'm just gonna start sketching out a brow. That is about all the brow I can venture to do. I'm gonna round it out a little bit. Okay, perfect. We got some brows on. Now we're gonna powder and blend. Just taking a slanted brush and some contour, and I'm just gonna pat, 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 and I'm kind of flicking up. Gonna kind of hit this part back here and drag it up a little bit so it gives me the illusion of having a more rounded chin. And I'm just taking the very tip of the brush, and I'm using that to kind of contour the sides of my nose. Okay, see? We're nice and contoured up. I choose to be insane when I blush every day, in every way. I'm gonna take probably one of my favorite blush brushes, even though I don't think that's what's intended for. It's a Bdellium Tools 974. It's nice, rounded, and domed. I'm going to dip into B3. It's this nice, obnoxious, vibrant pink. I'm gonna hit right in like the dead center of my cheek, and then work it up and back. Alright, and now we're just gonna finish off with some highlighter. This is the Becca in Lilac Geode. I think it was one of the limited edition ones. I don't know. It's freaking gorgeous, though. It's like a duochrome gold pink. And I'm just going to go like right beneath the eyes. I'm going to pat a little bit and then brush that little bit on the nose. I'm going to go right below the brows with that highlighter as well, so it's a little more intense, and I'm kind of keeping it on the inner edge. I'm going to finish off with lipstick. This is one of the NYX Liquid Suedes. It's just very hot pink. This is the final look. Zoom me in so you can get a close-up. The classic drag queen pose. Anyways, hey, if you guys enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. Once again, Colton BearScareBeauty. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, same way it's spelled here. Watch my other videos, it'd mean a lot. Subscribe, it'd also mean a lot. You'll get more soon in the future, and I'm going to be doing more monster stuff now that I have some more inspiration. I also just rebought some Artex, which is basically 3rd degree, so I can use that as well. And I'm probably going to do a cut tutorial soon, since I've only done a 10-minute tear of a cut tutorial, and I need to do a real one. And I'll do that with a couple different mediums as well. But hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.